Talking about first impressions, I would argue that last impressions are arguably more important than first impressions. And I'll give you an example. I just came back from this extremely popular burger joint called the Smash Guys. This place is almost always crowded. It has a long ass line throughout the day. Today is a Thursday evening and we had to wait 90 minutes. So the expectations were extremely high. And by the time we got in, I was not only very hungry, I was also kind of cranky. So as we went in, we realized that the place was very loud. And I'm not really someone that likes a lot of loud places. Then the person who was taking our order told us that on top of the 90 minutes that we waited, we had to wait another 20 minutes for our food. Not to mention that when the first burger came out, it was actually cold and we had to send it back, which is until we asked for the check, which is when the manager walks up to us, apologizes for the burger, genuinely asks for our feedback and overall experience, and then ends up recommending their signature. I think it was an old monk infused chocolate mousse. And it wasn't that he said anything in particular, but the fact that in such a busy restaurant with so many customers, he took out the time to come and talk to us made me feel a lot better. And I genuinely came out of that place having a positive experience, even though almost everything up until that point was a 7 on 10 at best. And that was by design. I coincidentally was listening to my favorite podcast, My First Million, where the guest was the owner of 11 Madison Park, which is a restaurant in New York City, which was awarded the best restaurant in the world. And he was talking about how they do the exact same thing. They optimize for the customer's last experience to be just as good, if not better, than their entire experience in the restaurant. And this is rooted in this psychological concept called the peak end bias. Now, no matter how good, polished, appealing something is at the start, if it ends in a bad experience, you remember it as a bad thing. How many times has it happened that when you leave something, a job, a relationship, a bad experience, you leave that situation with anything but the best version of yourself? So in essence, you're leaving that person or environment with an impression of yourself that's not what you would want to be remembered by. And over time, this compounds. You start being known as the guy or girl who has a temper, who cannot control their emotions, who is not mature. And that is something very hard to shed. So rather than just obsess over your first impressions, if you are ambitious, you are in the service business, or well, practically everyone is in the people business, you need to equally obsess over your last impressions.